will be receiving to our left, so kicking off for the Miami Dolphins will be number 5, Uwe von Schaman. Jimmy Smith is the deep back in the middle, with Keith Griffin and Virgil C. off on the wings. A very warm afternoon, but a gorgeous morning here in Washington, D.C. The temperature at noon an hour ago, 83 degrees. The relative humidity, 53%. The temperature should climb to 90. It will be a warm and muggy afternoon, and we have a great game for you. Starting off the 20th NFL season on NBC. And 84 is underway. Jimmy Smith, he'll down it. No, he's going to come out from 8 yards deep in the end zone and is decked at the 8-yard line. Not a good choice for the Washington Redskins. And the man that brought him down was Fernanza Burgess, and we'll be talking about that young man. But first, let's take a look at the quarterback, Joe Theismann, and his offense. John Riggins will be the ace back. The 2 tight ends, Walker and Warren. The wide receivers, Charlie Brown and Art Monk. 2 great wide receivers. The offensive line, Jacoby, Grimm, Bostic, May, and Stark. Washington from their own 8-yard line. We expect them to open with John Wiggins running to the left side. And that is the opening thrust to the 15-yard line. Behind the blocking of Joe Jacoby. And it was the matchup between Jacoby and Beaucamper that caught everybody's attention the last time they met in the Super Bowl. Doug Betters, Bob Baumhauer, he's bothered by a knee, though. Barnett will be replacing him. Some Beaucamper is there. The linebackers, Brophy is the rookie. Yard line, 2nd down and 3. Riggins gets the call again. Picks up 4 to the 19, this time behind the blocking of the center, Jeff Bostic, with Brown and Betters on the tackle. And let's look at that secondary with Don McNeil out last year with that ruptured Achilles tendon. He's back. William Judson on the right side, and the Blackwood brothers at safety. First down for Washington at their own 19-yard line. Ball game just underway. Joe Theismann, in the last 2 years, has thrown only 20 interceptions over a 2-year period. Goes for the bomb, and it is incomplete. Charlie Brown, the intended receiver, and Judson was the man testing him. And you expected this, Bob.
I really did. The first 2 plays, Charlie, as we expected, they came out and ran, but they really gave the Dolphins a different look, something that I thought they might do all in preseason. I think they've held some plays back. They came out, you know, Walker, number 88, is always the moving tight end for the Redskins. Now they're using 85 Warren as the moving tight end. Something a little bit different for the young linebackers of the Miami Dolphins. Give them something to think about.
2nd down and 10, Washington. This time it's Walker that shows motion and reverses. Here comes Riggins on the right side. And he moves to the 24-yard line, picks up 5. It'll be 3rd down and 5. Kim Beaucamper was there to make the tackle. Starting linebacker, you saw him a moment ago, the only rookie in the starting lineup. Number 53, Jay Brophy. We're going to be profiling him, taken in the 2nd round of the draft. The reason that he is starting rather than Jackie Shipp, who was the #1 choice, same position, is that he is able to play more of a professional defense because he played at Miami.
University of Miami national champions last year. Had more experience against the pass. Jackie Shipp was at Oklahoma. Didn't see a lot of passing at that university.
Joe Washington comes in. Alvin Garrett comes in for the offense. Washington breaks open, but the pass goes deep down the far side, and it is incomplete. Alvin Garrett, the intended receiver. Paul Langford, extra man in the secondary.
This is a great throw by Theismann, very similar to the same type of defense that the Raiders were giving him in the Super Bowl. This time the throw is on the money. He just doesn't hold on to it. But in talking with Gibbs, we asked him if we thought he was going to catch that defense a lot that the Raiders gave him and shut down their offense. He says, we've already seen it a lot, and we've really been playing pretty well against it.
Jeff Hayes will be kicking to this man, number 83, Mike Clayton. Don Shula says he has light feet. The wind at about 8 miles an hour out of the south-southeast, but we're enclosed here at RFK Stadium. Shouldn't have any effect. And he gets off a good one. Clayton takes it at the 29-yard line, heads to the far side, has a block, out to the 40, spins out of a tackle, and then goes out of bounds on the far side. 46 yards on the punt, and a 16-yard return for Mark Clayton. We've got a timeout, no score, 12 and a half minutes left to go. We're in the first quarter. We'll be back.
The 550 Plymouth Reliant K. Match it, tempo. Reliant K has better gas mileage. Match it. Reliant K, base two-door with optional automatic and power steering. $326 less than Tempo GL. Match it. The 550 Plymouth Reliant K. Backed with a 5-year or 50,000-mile protection plan. Match it. The 550 Plymouth, the best built, best backed American cars.
It's Saturday, October 13th. Something's about to happen that's never happened before. In over 120 cities, people are joining together to be part of the Stroh's Run for Liberty, a 5-mile run where your entry fee helps restore the statue. Sponsored by Stroh's and supported by Brooks Shoes. This is not just for runners, it's for everyone. But most of all, it's for her. So call to enter or sign up wherever you buy Brooks Shoes or Stroh's beer.
In the New England-Buffalo game, Steve Grogan, a 65-yard touchdown pass. Patriots out in front of Buffalo 7-0. Patriots will be playing at Miami next week. Miami's first opportunity on offense. Marino opens up throwing, and he goes right to Mark Duper. And Duper picks up the first down at the Washington 47-yard line. The offense of the Miami Dolphins. Dan Marino is the quarterback. Played in only one game in preseason. We'll be talking about that. Tony Nathan, Andra Franklin, the running backs. Duper, Clayton, and Johnson are the receivers. The offensive line, Giesler, Foster, Stevenson, Newman, and Eric Laxo. First down, Miami. No score, 11:56 and counting, first quarter. Clayton in motion. Hand off to Tony Nathan. Dropped for a loss by Dave Butts, number 65, who is excellent against the run. Let's look at that Redskin defense. One of the few teams in the NFL with a 4-man front. Liebenstein, Butts. Brooks is playing for Grant, who has a bad knee. And Mr. D, Dexter Manley, married yesterday morning, is the defensive end. Kaufman, Okowitz, and Malott, the linebackers. In the secondary, good speed with Darrell Green, Washington, Peters, and Murphy. Second down and 12. Reno to the far side to Jim Jensen, who just came into the ball game. Interesting story on Jim Jensen, number 11, has a problem selecting a shoulder pad. Today he will play a tight end, wide receiver, and on the special teams can play a quarterback as he did in preseason. Bobby also can snap.
You're right, Charlie. And his big problem, like you say, is knowing which shoulder pads to wear. In the past few years, he's gone down under a lot of kicks. Of course, the bigger shoulder pads. When he plays quarterback, he has to have the smaller ones.
And Tony McGee, Mac the sack, is checked into the defense. Third down and 9. Cephalo comes in from the shotgun. Extra wide receiver. Incomplete. Going to Mark Clayton. So it will be fourth down here, but right now, let's go to New York City, NFL 84.
All right, Charlie, this is Bob Costas in New York. Second play from scrimmage in Buffalo. Steve Grogan drops back, and he finds Stephon Starring, the second-year man from McNeese State. A 65-yard touchdown for the Pats, who beat the Bills twice last year and lead them early today, 7-0. Let's go back to Charlie and Bob.
That is an interesting update. Thank you. Appreciate it. Here we go. Reggie Roby will be punting. Mike Nelms is set for a possible return. He's at the 10-yard line. It's almost above the stadium. When it comes down and hits the ground, the hang time is 5.2 seconds. Now, Carl Lewis could run half of a 100-yard dash in that time.
It helps him get down there and cover the football, right, Charlie?
We'll be back. No score. 33rd consecutive sellout, an NFL record dating back to 1966. Here's Riggins. Falls forward for a couple of yards from the 20 to the 22. To be second down and 8. Bocamper with the tackle. Leading the play was number 66, Joe Jacoby. Jacoby will be previewing him. Here's a quick look.
Like a Mack truck pulling and coming around, number 66. If he can make it through the hole, you know Riggins can, but it closed up after he went through. It was like a whoosh. The air came through and closed it up.
Atlanta 3, New Orleans nothing. Quick update on the scoreboard. Second down and 8. Washington for the 22. Riggins left side. Again behind Jacoby. Across the 25 to the 26. A gain of 4. It'll be third down and 4 as Bob Baumhauer, who was bothered by a bad knee, was questionable as a starter, made the tackle. Jacoby, number 66, is 6'7", 305 pounds. When we were at Redskin Park yesterday, Bob and I were walking down the hall. Jacoby stepped out of the training room, and this giant shadow lengthened over our bodies and down the hall.
And he walked right by Dave Butts, who is a mammoth man himself, and Butts looked like a normal person.
He is large and good. Third down and 4. Theismann is 0 for 2. Over the middle. Pass is complete. First down. Charlie Brown. First down at the 35. A gain of 9. Mark Brown and Paul Langford with the tackle. Let's take another look.
Third and short. Theismann looking downfield. You'll see 51 Brown right in front of him. A lot of times, short yardage situation, 3rd and 5. He'd like to get the ball right over the middle of the field, pick up the first down, keep the drive going.
8.5 minutes left. First quarter, no score. Play action fake, quick screen. Charlie Brown. Flag is down. Brown will pick up the first down at the play stands. We had the first flag of the ball game, and Mark Brown of the Miami Dolphins, a number 9 draft choice last year out of Purdue, your alma mater, made the tackle. It will be against the Skins. Let's check the scoreboard. Kansas City leading Pittsburgh 7-0.
Illegal block above the waist. Number 88, offense.
Bob McElwee, the referee. And the call against Rick Walker. Joe Gibbs, the glasses. Had a nice visit with him yesterday. He had his game face on.
He certainly did. He says, I'm going over all my charts. And Saturday afternoon, the coaches, the head coaches, they made those charts up maybe 5 or 6 times during the week. They always go back, review them, redo them, try to get them better organized. If they've got more time before the ball game, they'll use it to put it to some good use.
With the penalty, first down and 13. Washington at their own 32-yard line. Theismann to throw. Riggins out of the backfield. One of the few times you will see him catch a pass. But he has 8 yards to the 40-yard line. William Judson makes the tackle.
Here you take a look. Riggins is in the backfield. The 2 receivers will come down and clear out, and Riggins will just run a little out pattern right here. Let's take a look at it. Like you said, Charlie, they don't throw him the ball very often. I think teams tend to forget about him. You see Riggins coming out, breaks to the outside. Good execution.
One of the reasons, youth at linebackers for the Dolphins. Riggins, their responsibility. 2nd and 5. Art Monk showing motion right side. Here's Riggins. A yard to the 41. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Jay Brophy with the tackle. And San Diego. Fouts is at it again. Fouts to Chandler, 21 yards. And the Chargers out in front of Minnesota, 7-0. 3rd down and 4. Passing situation for the Redskins. And that means that Riggins comes out. So Joe Washington and Alvin Garrett will check in, and the Dolphins will counter with 5 in the secondary.
Situation like this, they really like to go to Joe Washington, number 25. Let's see what they do.
Back over the middle. Art Monk. Monk breaks it to the 34-yard line.
Theismann backs up, looks to his left the entire time. The inside receiver you see clearing out. Monk comes underneath him. It's a little problem with the defense when you play man-to-man coverage. You have two receivers crossing. Good play and good read by Joe Theismann.
And a gain of 24 yards to the Miami 34-yard line, first down. No score, 6:15 left to go. First period of play. The Redskins and the Dolphins, they both may be Super Bowl bound. Play action to Riggins. Flag is down. Theismann, all the time in the world, runs out of time. He's out at the 37-yard line, but there was a marker dropped to the far side of the field. Rudzinski was the man bringing Theismann down right on the sideline. And we'll check out the marker. Second flag in the ball game. It's against the Skins. Now, while they mark this off, we'll hear the announcement. Let's go to NFL 84.
A year ago, in games Dan Fouts didn't start, the Chargers were 1-5. He's healthy this year and looking for Wes Chandler. Watch this spectacular catch by the man Ahmad Rashad calls the best wide receiver in football. A 21-yard touchdown and an early lead for the Chargers over the Vikes. Charlie?
Thank you, Bob. I guess Air Coryell is it's taken off already.
I think it's back and ready to go.
No score here. Atlanta, that looks like a baseball score, but it's not. It's a football score. Atlanta 5, New Orleans nothing. Todd was tackled for a safety. At the Miami 34-yard line, first down. Excuse me. After the penalty, it is second after the scramble out of bounds, which actually goes as a sack at 2nd and 12. Rick Walker, the tight end and sometimes H-back, a gain of 6 on the play. And Charles Bowser makes the tackle.
We had a nice visit yesterday with Joe Gibbs, and he was saying offensively he doesn't like to let the other team know what he's going to run. We've seen more formations out here. I saw some films before the game of the Redskin offense the last 2 or 3 ball games. I don't think they've run a formation or a play that they've run in preseason. They're showing them a lot of different looks, a lot due to the fact that the Dolphins have young linebackers.
3rd down and 7, ball at the 31-yard line. Theismann back to throw. Washington slips out left. He goes to Washington and he overthrows him. Good coverage by the Miami cornerback. There was the linebacker, Mark Brown, who picked him up coming back. Washington saw the coverage, cut it off, but as he cut off, Theismann had run out of time, already had released the ball.
Well, you know, Joe had exactly what he wanted. He had his speedy back, Washington, against Mark Brown, and he was running an option. He can come out of the backfield and break to the inside of the out. And as a quarterback, when you have that situation, you're thinking you got a good completion.
48-yard field goal attempt by Mark Mosley. We were talking to him before the ballgame. This is a tough field to kick off of.
The field is very bumpy. You can't tell it from your screen, but when you walk on it, it's very uneven.
Theismann to home. And it is no good. Missing to the right side. We have 5:04 left to go in the first, and still no score. We'll be back. Go first quarter, no score between the Washington Redskins and the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins have the ball at their own 31-yard line, first down. Redskins had the ball for 10 plays and consumed just over 5 minutes on the clock. Andra Franklin gets the call. And he moves close to the 35-yard line, gain of 4, 2nd down and 6. Philadelphia in front of the Giants with a 47-yard field goal. New England now 14-0. Grogan has thrown 2 touchdown passes, the second one to Ramsey. 14-0 Patriots. And again, the Patriots expected to challenge the Dolphins in the East, and they meet in Miami next Sunday. Jensen is in as a wide receiver. No, he's in as a running back. Tony Nathan breaks it on the right side, close to the 50-yard line. Mark Murphy, the free safety, made the tackle. 15 yards and a first down.
Here we'll take another look at it. 61 is Foster as he pulls. 69 is Brooks. He gets knocked out of the way by the back. Good running by Nathan. Gets to the outside, and if you can get to the corner, there's usually a lane to turn it up.
And Mel Kaufman is the man that he got around.
You know, Charlie, I'm a little bit surprised at the amount of use that Don Shula is giving Jim Jensen so early in the ball game. He's been at the tight end. He's thrown him a couple passes. Now he's lined up at wide receiver.
First down, Dolphins. Looking to Jensen and throwing to Jensen, and he has it. And keeps going to the 30-yard line. 21 yards. Mike Murphy with a tackle, and that's the reason that Jensen is there, obviously. The shoe knows more than we do.
Okay, here's Jim Jensen lined up out here. As you'll see, the back comes out and just runs a little flat pattern. Jensen comes in and runs a slant. Good protection and a good throw. Let's take a look at it. Jensen, number 11. You see the big seam that the quarterback has to throw through. Great. That's a great design play. The Dolphins must have known that if they go to that situation, we're going to have the pass open.
30-yard line, first down. The first back through is Franklin. And Franklin plows to the 22-yard line. Gain of 8, second and a couple. Mark Murphy with a tackle. Let's go to NFL 84.
All right, Charlie. In Buffalo, Steve Grogan has struck again his second TD pass of the first quarter, this time to the former Raider tight end Derek Ramsey. That little spike is okay this year. 14-0, New England over Buffalo in the first. Let's go back to Mr. Jones and Mr. Greasy.
Thank you, Mr. Costas. And by the way, congratulations. The new host of NFL 84, opening up the season for us today. Tony Nathan. Here's an early surprise. Detroit leading San Francisco by the score of 7-0. Sims from 2 yards out. Good defensive play here by the Redskins. Puts the ball back to the 26-yard line. Loss of 4, so it's third down and about 6. As Cephalo and Rose come into the offensive set. No score. 1:53 and counting, first quarter. From the shotgun. Flag down. Redskins offsides in the end zone. Free play caught. There was another flag dropped. Caught in the end zone. 2 flags to check out. The first one I'm sure was against Washington. I do not know about the second one. Mark Duper, number 85, with 4.35 speed.
Charlie, it was just a pattern where Duper saw. Take a look.
Defense, pass interference, defense, both penalties declined, touchdown.
Miami has the lead. Here's the play, 26 yards.
We see an isolate. Darrell Green, 28, and Duper just runs a streak straight down the field. The problem is Green does not see the ball and adjust as well as Duper does. He really wasn't that far open. It was the old underthrow. Duper sees it and comes back. It's a big play for Duper and the Dolphins.
And Uwe von Schamann will attempt the extra point as Miami scores first. Strock with the hold. The center is Jepte. And it's good. The score, Miami 7 and Washington nothing. 1:44 left to go in the first quarter. Here's the touchdown. Let's go to baseball. The Cubs and the Mets crash head on this Friday. Here's a preview. 69-yard drive, 6 plays. Miami has the lead. Marino has completed 4 of 5. Von Schamann kicking off to Smith. This time he will down it in the end zone, and the Redskins with the touchback will have the ball at their own 20-yard line with now 1 minute and 38 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. Miami striking first. Marino opens with a hot hand.
Well, he opens with a hot hand, but Darrell Green has his man covered. He's saying, no, I'm guarding you well. I got you at the goal line. The end zone of the back of the end zone is there. I've got you covered. And all of a sudden the ball is underthrown. And because he doesn't see it, he gets a touchdown against him.
Riggins, the remaining back. Charlie Brown in motion. Theismann to throw. There was bumping. The pass is incomplete and the flag is down. Art Monk, the intended receiver. He and McNeil bumped. And I am not sure who caused the bumping. Pass interference is the call.
Pass interference, number 28.
McNeil appealing his case, and he will lose it.
I don't think he agrees.
No.
Heisman says if the Dolphins can do it, we can do it. It's just a slant pattern. Wide receiver. Let's take a look. Looks like he's there a little bit before. Yeah, he bumped into him. Bumped into him a little bit ahead of time and impaired his route to the ball.
A 19-yard penalty to the 39-yard line. First down for Washington. Charlie Brown in motion. Play action. Monk wrestled down at the 47-yard line, a gain of 8. Second down and a couple. Don McNeil. They're going right at McNeil. Let's check the scoreboard. Kansas City leading Pittsburgh now 7-3. Stenerud with a 41-yard field goal. Chicago leading Tampa Bay by a score of 3-0. Washington at their own 47-yard line. Second and a pair. Redskins trailing. Riggins first down. Across the 50 to the 49 of Miami and the first down. Bob Baumhauer is the man who stopped in. Let's look at John Riggins. Riggins conditions himself to the beat of his own drummer.
He doesn't hear the music, but everybody else is here, and I'll guarantee you that. The thing about Riggins is he is not too quick off the ball. He gives his offensive lineman an opportunity to create a seam up front. Some running backs get there too quick, and they run right up the back of the offensive lineman. Not Riggins. He's smart enough. He waits, and then he can get through the hole with his quick feet.
Talking with Joe Gibbs, his head coach. Riggins does not train in the offseason, starts at the minicamp, does his own running program. And he runs here to daylight and a first down. Brown with the tackle. Behind Russ Grimm and Jeff Bostic, 12 yards.
This is a great example of what we were just talking about. He starts wide, doesn't get there too quickly, lets the lineman overrun it, and then says, hey, I can get back in that hole inside. And he does. He's got good quick feet, but yet he is a load to bring down. He has got the power, but yet the quick feet to get through the hole. And we've oftentimes talked about running backs with quick feet and good eyes. You have to see to get back in those holes, and you have to have the feet to get where you're looking.
Riggins, 8 carries, 40 yards in the first quarter. That's a 5-yard average. After the first period, Miami leads 7-0. We'll be back with the second quarter.
In my line of work, you're in.
Here are the statistics in the first quarter. Time of possession just over 9.5 minutes to 5:28. But the Dolphins did put together the one key drive, the 26-yard touchdown pass from Dan Marino to Mark Duper. Miami leading 7-0 as we start the second period. Riggins with a little fake to the left, counters to the right side. 12 yards, first down, 25 behind Jacoby. Mike Brown with the tackle.
We'll see Grimm 68, Jacoby 66, pulling to the right side. Riggins had taken a step to the left, a counter step to hold the linebackers, allow his lineman to get around in front of him. Good play by the Redskins, working on the young linebackers of the Dolphins.
And down 7-0. Washington started this drive back at their own 20. Now to the Miami 25. Play action. Theismann throws. All alone is Charlie Brown. Then he gathers a crowd, but there wasn't anybody within 7 or 8 yards. We'll give the tackle to Judson and others. Let's go to New York.
All right, Charlie, at the Metrodome, it's Fouts to Chandler again. This time, 18 yards, and it's another great Wes Chandler catch. It's 14-3, San Diego over Minnesota, still in the first quarter in Minneapolis. Let's go back to Charlie Jones.
Thank you, Bob. Here it is, 13 minutes, 48 seconds left to go. Second period, Miami leading 7-0. Redskins on the move at the Dolphin 18. Second down, 3. You look for Riggins behind Jacoby. Here's Riggins behind Jacoby. Big hole. 12-yard line. First down. Couple of scores. New Orleans now in front of Atlanta by a score of 7-5. Rodgers scoring from 3 yards out. And St. Louis leading Green Bay 7-0.
Charlie, anytime you have a hole in the offensive and defensive line as big as what we're seeing with Riggins, there's got to be some kind of a mistake on someone's part. With all the motion the tight ends are doing, you got to believe it's those young linebackers, Mark Brown and Brophy.
Riggins, 10 carries, 58 yards. And here he is again. Fouling to the 6-yard line. Blackwood with the tackle. Rice's famous column, the Four Horsemen Notre Dame. If he wrote it about the Washington Redskins, there would be one horseman, and his name would be destruction.
You're talking about John Riggins.
Of course. 2nd and 4 at the Miami 6-yard line. Riggins, the remaining back. Would you try him to the right side? Yes. Hits for the corner. Does not make it. Blackwood saves the touchdown for a moment. Walker with the lead block.
Linebackers, watch the offensive line blocking. Just staying in the face of the defensive line. Riggins outrunning him. Now he's got his little defensive back. He says, I can handle this one. Let me run over him. Brown, number 51, gets there to help. But it's too late. They're on the 1-yard line, 1st and 1. I'm a little bit surprised that the Redskins, who led the entire National Football League last year in scoring over 500 points, haven't scored to this point. Obviously, they're in great position here.
Riggins, 70 yards, 12 carries. This time, Riggins left behind Jacoby. There it is. He's got it.
Just as you called, Charlie, Riggins left behind Jacoby. Straight block, and Riggins gets up, and he rolls in. I don't think he got in initially, but he rolled in before he hit the ground.
35-year-old John Riggins.
You know where he's going? He's going for the oxygen.
Mosley with the extra point. And it is good. We're tied at 7.
The All-American car. Every year more parts.
In the first half, ball game tied 7-7. Washington, picture perfect, 80-yard drive, 9 plays, 45 yards of the 80, picked up by John Riggins. Jeff Hayes will be kicking off. Vince Heflin is the deep back. And a little shift in the kickoff tee. 10-yard line. Heflin to the 27-yard, maybe the 28-yard line. Alvin Garrett makes the tackle.
Little shift that you talked about, Charlie. Of course, the Redskins have always been known for their special teams. They have some real headhunters that go down. What they were doing was switching their men around so the Dolphins didn't know who to block. We'll be right back.
This is Charlie Jones, Bob Greasy, the Miami Dolphins, and the Washington Redskins. These two teams have met in 2 Super Bowls. They have each won 1. They could meet again at Stanford Stadium, Palo Alto. Quick screen outside to Clayton. Clayton to the 30, slips and falls back, and a flag comes flying about 17 yards through the air. Liebenstein, Todd, number 79, making the tackle for the Redskins.
I think we're going to get 87 on the Dolphins. Johnson, I don't know. He was out there, and when the official threw the flag, he threw it right at Johnson. That usually tells you something.
Don Shula, the head coach of the Dolphins. This is his 22nd year as a head coach.
Block above the waist, number 87, offense. Still first down.
Shula's 15th year as head coach of Miami. Dan Johnson, he has a flak jacket on. He's playing with 2 fractured ribs. During the last 7 seasons, Miami has the fewest penalty yardage in the NFL, and that is their first penalty of the ball game. It's their second. The ball goes back to the 20-yard line. First down, 18. Nathan and Bennett are in the backfield. Both are in the block. 3 on the pattern. Far side, pass is complete. Dan Johnson picking up about 7 yards on the play. So it'll be second down and 11. Tony Peters, number 23, making the tackle. Detroit leading San Francisco by a score of 10-7. Second quarter. We're in the second quarter here. 10 minutes, 25 seconds left to go in the first half, and we're tied 7-7. Miami scoring first, a 26-yard touchdown pass from Dan Marino to Mark Duper, and then Riggins scoring from a yard out for the Redskins. Second and 11, Miami. Marino throwing on the run. The pass is complete to Nat Moore. Moore comes out of bounds on the near side after picking up 8, short of the first down. And Darrell Green was there for the Washington secondary. Shot the ball at the 35.
Excuse me, Charlie. Marino showing a little bit of his mobility. Theismann, as we said earlier, and Marino have the ability to move around, and they also have design, drop back, and sprint out type passes where you drop back, get the pocket to come at you, and then sprint out wide right or left.
Tony McGee comes in for the Redskins. They expect the throw. They're in the shotgun. They've got it. And Vernon Dean is the 5th man in the secondary. 3rd and 3. First down. Cephalo caught it past the markers. Then he was hit. Let's see where the officials spot the ball. Dean, the 5th man, the nickel back, that's what the 5 comes from, hit him right at the first down markers. The officials are going to mark it about a yard shy. We'll take another look.
They call it short, 4th down. 57, as you see, is covering the back as Marino throws it short to the left side. Cephalo is hit. I think at that point he was close, but the good tenacious defense. And now you're leaving it up to the official, and he says it was short. Cephalo, I'm sure, thinks he got it.
4th down and a yard. Reggie Roby will be kicking.
The point there, Charlie, is you should always go downfield far enough so that when you catch the ball, you've got the first down.
Mike Nelms with the return. It's a beauty. At the 11-yard line. Struggles for a couple of yards. Robert Sowell, number 45, down so quickly for the Dolphins. And that...
None of those things.
So it's no surprise 4 out of 5 people prefer our taste.
Bob, you said the keys to the game would be the protection of Marino and Riggins running.
And that's what they've done. And also bombs away. We had a big bomb by Marino, and so far it's kind of held up to what we thought it would be.
And just as close as we expected to be. Tied 7-7. 8:57 left to go first half. Joe Washington from the 14, the line of scrimmage. And they may give him a half a yard, but that's about it. Today's game is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By express mail service from the post office. We deliver excellence for less. And by Gatorade Thirst Quencher, Gatorade is thirst aid for that deep down body thirst. This is Charlie Jones, Bob Greasy with 8 minutes and 25 seconds left to go in the second quarter. It is Miami 7 and Washington 7. Second down and 10, 14-yard line. Washington did not pick up any yardage. He kind of delays in the backfield, hiding behind that big offensive line. And then he scoots for 6 yards to the 20. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Charles Bowser with the tackle.
Charlie, this is the same play. A jab step to the left, Washington 25, to hold the linebackers. And then he goes back to the right, 68 Grimm and 66 Jacoby. Good play by Brown, sidestepping Jacoby. But, you know, they have their quick man in there now. They've taken out Riggins. He's their thunder. And now they have lightning in there, if you will, because Joe can make things happen very quickly.
3rd down and 4. Alvin Garrett comes in as a receiver.
is looking downfield, and he comes back. He reads deep to short. He sees nothing open, dumps it out to Warren. Good coverage by Brown, 51. But now it's man-to-man coverage, and once you beat, oh, look out there. We'll take a look at the wide receiver for the Skins, Garrett. Alvin Garrett comes back, gets a piece of a block. Big play for the Redskins.
And a gain of 25 yards to the 46 on the drop. 5'10", Joe Washington running into Joe Jacoby. Jacoby is 6'7". He kind of bounced back. He was hiding behind him, couldn't get around him. It's like running into a wall.
Think about playing linebacker. You can't see around the offensive lineman. You can't see Joe. Update
on the scoreboard. Kansas City leading Pittsburgh 10-3. Ken Huff has come in to the offensive line, replacing Joe Jacoby.
Jacoby had a problem last week. He had a leg injury. It doesn't appear, though, that that's the problem today.
Defensive changes. Bill Barnett and Mike Charles are in that defensive line. 2nd and 10. Heisman to Charlie Brown. 34-yard line.
Heisman just waits till his man comes open at the top. Number 28, McNeil, is covering him. Good throw, good route, good throw. Patience is what made that one work. Patience by the quarterback and patience by the wide receiver. Took him downfield, broke to the outside. Good execution by the Redskins.
Jacoby is back into the offensive line. 87, Charlie Brown, coming wide to the near side. First down, 34-yard line of Miami. Washington. 3 to the 31. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Doug Betters with the tackle. Mike Charles replacing Kim Bocamper. Now Mike Charles, number 71, defensive right end for the Dolphins, weighs 290 pounds. He's across from Jacoby, weighing 305, whereas Bocamper weighs about 255, and that weight disadvantage was simply hurting him.
No question that Charles, 71, in your screen will be much tougher against the run. Should be. Of course, Jacoby is just a mountain.
Heisman has completed 10 of 13, 117 yards. Charlie Brown, first down. Let's go to NFL 84.
All right, Charlie, this score is going to surprise a few people. 3rd and goal. Theodis Brown around the left side. He goes untouched into the end zone, and Kansas City leaves Pittsburgh by a score of 17-3.
Thank you, Bill McAtee, for the update. Here the score is tied 7-7, and the Redskins are on the move. 23-yard line of Miami. First down. Washington putting a couple of quick inside moves for 3 yards to the 20. 2nd down, 7. And Jay Brophy makes the tackle, the rookie out of Miami of Florida.
Take a look at the battle. Jacoby steps out. Charles, 61. But, you know, it's got to be tough fighting and going on in there. It's got to be tough for the defense of the Dolphins, getting ready one series for big, powerful John Riggins, and then come in and run the same plays with a man the quickness of Joe Washington. You really have to know who is in the ballgame.
This is the 9th play of the drive that started back at the 14-yard line. Washington fakes outside, comes back inside. 15-yard line, gain of 5. 3rd down and a couple. Mike Charles with the tackle. Number 3 is Mark Mosley. He's just kind of loosening up. I think more in his mind for an extra point attempt.
I think he was wiping off the toe of his shoe, maybe putting a little spit down there and cleaning it off. You know, those kickers are kind of temperamental, and they're very suspicious and superstitious, and they want to make sure that everything is just right.
Alvin Garrett comes in. 5 men in the secondary for the Dolphins. 3rd down and 2 at the Miami 15, within field goal range of Mosley, of course. In the corner, knocked down. A flag dropped at the 6-yard line. Paul Langford with an excellent defensive play if he did not bump him early. Alvin Garrett, the intended receiver. It's going against the offense.
coverage was good and tight, Charlie, and man-to-man coverage in the secondary. I don't think it was on Langford's man that he was covering. I think it was one or the other. They had two receivers in that area, and they went down and crossed.
Offensive pass interference, number 81. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Why is it declined? They do not want to give the Redskins another opportunity to pick up a first down or throw for the score. They would rather, that is, the Dolphins would rather have Washington go with a field goal attempt, and that is what they will do.
I won't be surprised, Charlie, if we see some bombs coming pretty soon, because the defenses are being very aggressive. They're up there challenging them, and we've almost seen some big plays, and I'm sure that later on, they continue playing those coverages, that's going to happen.
The holder, Joe Theismann, the quarterback. Could it be a fake? No. It's good. 32 yards away. The Redskins have the lead. 10-7. We'll be back.
With first base Falcons set up for try to...
Heflin at the 7-yard line. Returning near the 19. Greg Williams takes the tackle. Miami now with 3:02 left to go in the first half, trailing by 3. And we'll take a timeout. We'll be back to see if the Dolphins can move against the tough Redskin defense.
It's so smooth it won't skip or drag.
Possession almost 3-1 for Washington. Redskins have run 34 offensive plays. Miami only 14. The Dolphins. Flags are down. There was some jumping by Miami. The pass is way underthrown. Jensen would have been the intended receiver. As we check out the flags, let's check out the scoreboard. New England 21-0. They're going to make a run in the East. There's no question about that. Again, they play Miami at Miami next week. Atlanta, New Orleans. Atlanta out in front by a score of 12-7. Second quarter score. Kansas City leading Pittsburgh 17-3. Blackledge the quarterback there. Tampa Bay and Chicago 7-3. And don't forget, at halftime, stay with us. NFL 84 will be updating all of the scores and have the highlights of the first half of NFL action around the country here on NBC. Here's the call from Bob McElwee, the referee.
Offside, 65 defense.
Dave Butts jumping offside.
Dave Butts and a couple of his defensive line buddies jumped offside, but he's the guy that gets called probably because he's the biggest and the one that got seen.
6'7", 295 pounds, Dave Butts. Bothered by a little back injury. Was having the trainer work on it yesterday afternoon. Reno throws outside very quickly to Duper, and he is spun under by Darrell Green. Just across the 25.
You hear us talk about wide receiver screen. The wide receiver is down here at the top of your screen. Marino would just back up and throw the ball out. The left tackle now will come out here and try to make the block, but he doesn't get out there in time. Let's take a look. He makes a fake to the halfback, throws it out. Geisler, number 79, doesn't get out there in time. Good play by the cornerback.
Marino has completed 9 of 10 for 83 yards and a touchdown, but he hadn't had the ball enough. It's wobbly and all alone. It's Mark Duper. Duper blazing down the sideline. 74 yards. Miami back in front.
This was just a busted assignment. Here you see Duper up at the top. He's just going to come straight down the field, and the coverage is going to allow him to catch the ball there. And here we go. Let's take a look at it. He runs by the cornerback. The other man goes to the middle of the field. Busted coverage. And there's nobody going to catch Duper now.
Duper, who can, as you see, fly, has 4 receptions, 115 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And remember Bob Creasy's quote, opening day, bombs away. All right, Bob. Hooverman Shaman adds the point after. Miami regains the lead. 2:06 left to go in the first half.
You know people like me.
Is this the weekend of the Miami quarterbacks? Kosar last night, Marino today. Uvavad Shaman kicking off. Jimmy Smith, he'll come out with it. About the 17 or the 18-yard line. Now, who goes flying down? Number 82. Fernanza Burgess, free agent rookie out of Morris Brown. Here he is. The name Fernanza? When his mother went into labor, she was watching her favorite NBC show, Bonanza.
The final basket.
Mike Williams, number 84 on the special teams, was shaken up. Here's Riggins, not in the offense. Joe Washington there. He was in on that long touchdown drive, and he may be just winded because it is hot and very humid. Washington first down their own 18. Theismann going deep with the bomb, and he overthrows Charlie Brown. You made a statement at the top of the show in your quote. You expected to see bombs away. Tell me why.
Charlie, when you have aggressive defenses, as both teams here today do, that allows the offense to be aggressive. Let me explain it another way.
What do you mean by aggressive defenses?
If the teams aren't aggressive, they're sitting deep in zones, and you can't go deep because they're playing deep. If they're aggressive, they're up tight, man-to-man coverage, they're blitzing, and you can get one-on-one coverage with your speedy wide receivers on their defensive backs downfield. If you got aggressive defensive backs, you can go aggressively at them. So obviously you're going to have some fireworks. That's the reason I said, you know, we're going to have some bombs today.
2nd and 10, Redskins from their own 18. Theismann has completed 10 of 15, 67% draw. Washington. And Mike Kozlowski makes the tackle. He'll lose a couple of yards back to the 16-yard line, so it will be 3rd down and 12. In rushing yardage, the Redskins have 88. The Dolphins have 21. We've got a timeout. 1:41 left to go. First half, Miami leads by 4.
When Fulton Walker of the Miami Dolphins caught that ball in Super Bowl 17, there were 98 yards and 11 Redskins between him and a touchdown. But he never looked back.
It all started for me back when I was a kid in the boys' clubs. Today, I'm still involved with the boys' clubs, giving kids like these a chance. When I first met Anthony Joyner, I knew he was a kid that had potential. I spent a lot of time with Anthony. We work out together. I try to give him those little tips that make a difference. By working with him and giving him a chance, he's become a winner.
You make the work of the boys' clubs possible when you support your local United Way. That's why we can say, thanks to you, it works for all of us, the United Way. This message furnished by the National Football League.
Yards rushing, 88 to 21.
And when you have a lot of rushing yardage, you're going to eat up the clock. So I think the time of possession will swing with a team that is running the ball a lot.
3rd down and 12, 16-yard line. Washington, the remaining back. He will just drift over the middle. And he's alone. Theismann runs out of time. Puts on a pretty good move to the 26, maybe the 27-yard line. And when Theismann first came to the Redskins, now it seems so many years ago, he was a punt returner. So he's used to running in the open field.
You know, the amazing thing about Joe is that all the games he's played as a punt returner and all the games he's played as a quarterback, running, scrambling, he has never been hurt. My gosh, you'd think he'd at least broken his nose once or twice with that face mask, but the guy is unbelievable.
He just picked up 11 yards. We've got a timeout. Here's a reminder, next Friday you have a ticket to the hottest games in town. When NBC Sports presents primetime baseball, some of you will see the Chicago Cubs squaring off against the New York Mets and one of the tightest pennant races in baseball. Others will see Reggie Jackson as he goes for his 500th home run. The California Angels take on the Chicago White Sox. Friday night at the ballpark beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern Time right here on NBC Sports, the home of the 1984 World Series. Stay with us at halftime as NFL 84 will have all of the highlights of this first exciting weekend of the National Football League. Jeff Hayes, number 5, getting set to kick, and Mark Clayton, number 83, who says that he can long jump a ping pong table. He said, set it up in the middle of the field. I did it in college, and I can do it again.
He told Shula, he says, if it'll get me a starting job, he says, I'll do it for you. Get it out there.
And you can keep the ping pong table.
Yeah, that's right.
1:27 left to go, first half. Jeff Hayes, good kick. Fair catch, signal for by Clayton at the 36-yard line. That punt covered only 37 yards. One of the rule changes that we have this year, there are a few we'll be talking about them over the course of the game and over the season, of course, and that is that Jeff Hayes, who was the punter, if he has pressure and, you know, goes for the award winning, the Heidi Award, you might say, and falls down and is not touched, then he can be penalized.
I think you're going to have some guys that were interested in punting, not punting anymore because they like that acting part, you know?
Miami has the ball on their own 36-yard line, first down, 1:20. 1 minute, 20 seconds left to go, first half. Miami leading 14-10. Marino from the shotgun. On a comeback pattern, first down, far side is Mark Clayton. Out of bounds at the 44-yard line of Washington. 20 yards. And he beat Anthony Washington. Took him deep in this, came back, Bob.
You're talking about Clayton and having light feet a little earlier, Charlie. Good example. Man picks his feet. He's got quick feet. You know, he has happy feet. He's always moving around. You know, quarterbacks, you need quarterbacks that have good feet to move around. And a receiver, if he can get down there and move his feet around, you can turn a defensive back, and Clayton has that quality.
Defensively, Charles Mann and Tony McGee, designated pass rushers, are in. Over the middle, it's complete. The ball was dropped. Miami retains possession. Joe Rose.
His knees were on the ground when the ball came out.
We might just kind of clarify that rule. If you have possession and your knee goes down, your shoulder goes down, your elbow goes down, anything besides the feet and the hands, after the ball comes loose, then it is not a fumble. Hurry up offense. Incomplete. Tony Nathan and had a step on his man.
Well, that could have been a big play, and Marino, you can see he's upset. He was trying to tell Tony it was my fault. Here's Nathan right here. Now watch. He'll come out of the backfield and break right here. This is the man that's covering. These safeties go away. He has the whole middle of the field. If he could have just got the ball, it would have been play. Big play. Let's take a look. Man-to-man, he fakes to the outside, gets to the inside. Greg Williams on the coverage.
He got away from Rich Milan, and he was open.
51, 57.
Third down 5.
Milan's their best coverage guy, too.
Inside handoff. Nathan, they wanted a flea flicker, but excellent defensive play by Mr. D, Dexter Manley. He was right there. He would have had an interception.
He sure would have.
Great play.
Let's take a look. It's a sweep. The guards will pull. Marino will hand it off, and then Marino comes back this way. Nathan is over here. Now watch Manley. Manley comes upfield and is in view for the play to intercept the ball if the ball would have been thrown back. There's the handoff. See Manley, he's waiting for it. He's seen this before. Marino's pointing to Manley. He says, don't throw it. He's waiting for me.
It will be 4th down and 2 at the 36-yard line. The Dolphins taking a timeout. 33 seconds left to go in the first half.
Now, you see Don Shula talking with Marino. Shula sent that play in. Now, he'll run that play maybe once a year. I haven't seen that play in about 2 or 3 years. When David Woodley ran it out in California, he ran it against the Los Angeles Rams at a critical point in the ball game. You probably won't see that one again until next year, maybe 2 years from now.
And Marino is probably saying, I'm glad I won't see it till then.
But, you know, they're pulling out all their gimmicks. All the formations, all the plays they haven't shown in preseason. They've worked on them all. Everything goes on the line today.
Joe Gibbs, the head coach of the Redskins, their record last year was 14-2. and their 2 losses to Dallas and to Green Bay were each by 1 point, 31-30 and 48-47. Miami is out of timeouts. Redskins still have 3 left. 4th down and 2. Elephant backfield. Bennett and Franklin. DFA can go deep. Taking a long count and the first down.
You got the best of both worlds because you got the first down, plus you have a penalty.
No, they didn't drop a flag.
You got that.
I thought Washington jumped. A gain of 7. First down. Sideline pass. That's to stop the clock with 16 seconds. Now, that's legal. That's a rule book play, and it is legal. There's me booing, but it is legal.
The ruling on intentional grounding is you have to be throwing the ball away and to avoid a loss. He was not obviously avoiding a loss. He was just throwing it away.
You can throw it away to stop the clock. The line of scrimmage is the 29-yard line. It is 2nd down and 10. 16 seconds left to go in the first half. Now, Miami opened the scoring. Marino to Duper, 26 yards. Washington came back, an 80-yard drive in 9 plays. Riggins from a yard out. That's the last time we've seen Riggins. Washington has been in since then, mostly with a 32-yard field goal for the Skins. Marino to Duper, 74 yards. Miami leads by 4 and are trying to stretch the margin. We have flags and whistles and players jumping. They may have been drawn off. Illegal procedure against the Dolphins. John Geisler. Left tackle may have moved, number 79 on the left side. Now, once you're set on that offensive line from tackle to tackle,
number 79,
that was the call.
2nd down.
Once you're set, 3 or 4 point stance from tackle to tackle, you cannot move.
What Shula is emphasizing is he had his hands on his hips. On his knees, he was not in a 3-point stance, therefore he could move.
It's still 2nd and 15. It's deep into coverage. Caught Joe Rose with 2 men all around him. 6 seconds. 5, 4. No timeouts. 3, 2, 1. Half.
Get that play off, Charlie. It's too far to go. Obviously, the offense hurried down, but the defense has to make an effort to come back, and which they were doing. There's no way with 6 seconds you can get that next play off.
A gain of 30 yards on that play into the first half. Miami leads 14-10. Stay tuned to Bob Costas, NFL 84, after this message.
Jackie Stewart, consultant to Ford.
An opportunity now to look at the official statistics in the first half. First downs, Redskins leading in that category. Yards rushing, leading their yards passing, major difference, almost 100 yards. Total yardage, pretty close, 243 to 217. Marino has completed 13 of 16, Theismann 10 of 15. So, you know, they're not that far apart. There's not been a turnover. Time of possession weighted heavily to the side of Washington.
No turnovers is not surprising because these two teams were the best in that position last year. The Redskins surprisingly had a plus 43 turnover ratio. They got the ball 43 more times than they gave it up. The Dolphins were plus 17, and they were number 2 in that category.
We alluded to the heat. Will it affect the Redskins or the Dolphins the most?
Charlie, I don't really think it's going to affect the Miami Dolphins because this is the type of weather that they practice in all the time this time of year. The Redskins, I think this is a little bit more humid than it normally is in this area, so I'm sure it's taking its toll on both, but it's got to help the Dolphins a little bit more. As you see, 86 degrees and the humidity is very high.
Humidity's not that far behind, and that is a fan near the bench. And the Redskins will be kicking off. You see the hair blowing? Well, of course, he has enough hair for it to blow. That helps. But that's for the fan. So Washington will be kicking off, and Vince Heflin will be returning for the Miami Dolphins. Heflin, number 88. Jeff Hayes punts and kicks off. Fielded at the 10-yard line by Heflin. returns across the 30 to about the 32-yard line. And Keith Griffin of the special team for the Washington Redskins. Interestingly enough, Joe Gibbs told us that he keeps 8 men, that's including the kickers, but 8 men for his special teams. That's 8 out of the 11 are there for that one purpose. We'll check out the offense for the Dolphins. Dan Marino, of course, at quarterback. They'll open with Tony Nathan and Andre Franklin as the running backs. Mark Duper and Mark Clayton, the wide receivers. Johnson, the tight end. Geisler, Foster, Stevenson, Newman, and Laxo, the offensive line. Marino has not been sacked, and he opens up the second half with a handoff to Tony Nathan. Neil Olkowitz, the middle linebacker for the Redskins, makes the tackle. They'll spot the ball at the 34, a gain of 2 from the 32. It'll be second down and 8. Defensively, Todd Liebenstein, Dave Butts, Perry Brooks replacing Darrell Grant, who has that knee problem. Started for him. Dexter Manley right in. Kaufman, Olkowitz, and Malott the linebackers. Darrell Green, Anthony Washington the corners. Tony Peters, Mark Murphy at the safety. Quick pass over the middle to Dan Johnson. Near the 40-yard line. Needed 8. He got 6. It'll be third down and a couple. And Tony Peters makes the tackle. Tony Peters, number 23, the strong safety in his 9th year out of Oklahoma. You're familiar with the story. Missed last year due to a drug-related suspension. Is back and playing this year. Tony Peters. Third down and 2. Miami 14. Washington 10. We're a minute and 20 seconds into the second half. First down, Franklin. From the 40 to the 47-yard line. Darrell Green with the stop.
This is what the Redskins do not want to do, make first downs against their defense on the ground. A big hole there for Franklin. I wouldn't be surprised to see him come out and start blitzing because they're going to step up the tempo of the ball game. They want to stop you aggressively with their defense.
Franklin comes out. He's replaced by Jim Jensen. Tony Nathan stays in. Jensen plays the ubiquitous position. He's everywhere. Incomplete. Jensen, the intended receivers. Peters had the coverage. Miami's offensive line giving Marino time.
They really are. They were a little bit short on this one. Stevenson, 57, and Newman blocking on Dave Butt, 65. That's a load. You know, Stevenson is one of the finest centers in the National Football League. Last week, he had a little bit of a tough game. He was going against Dave Logan at Tampa Bay. Had 3 holding penalties. I asked him during the week. He smiled. He says, yeah, he says, I was guilty. You don't normally expect to hear that.
Second and 10. Sweep left, Nathan. Maybe a yard, if that much, at Dexter Manley. Let's check the scoreboard. Kansas City-Pittsburgh game. (24-17). Woodley to Stallworth, 29-yard touchdown pass. It is warm. Nathan, 6 carries, 16 yards. Third down 9. Gain of 1 on the last play. He's there. He's got it. Had to wait just a step. And, of course, it's the man himself, Mark Duper. 2 touchdown receptions in the ballgame. 1 of 26 and 1 of 74 yards. And, Bob, the pass was just underthrown just a tad.
Just a tad, and there was no one in the middle of the field because these linebackers here were blitzing, and Murphy and the other safety had to come up. You'll see him come from this side of the field and run to the deep middle. Let's take a look at it. The linebackers are blitzing. Murphy and the other safety has to come up. That leaves the middle of the field wide open. A great throw and a good catch. That's what we're talking about, Charlie. Aggressive style of defense. It's bombs away for the quarterback. You like to play in a game like this because you can get some big plays.
47 yards on the play. 6-yard line. First down goal to go. Duper 5 for 162 yards and 2 touchdowns. Touchdown, Jensen. Jim Jensen on the receiving end of a 6-yard pass.
You can be for sure that Jensen's going to take that ball home and put it in his trophy case. Outstanding quarterback in college. But he never got any when he was receiving. Now he's going to take that one home. Just a slant. Marino looks to the left side. Jensen gets position, makes sure he catches it and gets down on the play.
And he'll hold on to that ball. That is his first regular season NFL touchdown. And he's in his 4th season. That one goes onto the memory shelf. Struck to hold. Uwe von Schamann. Extra point is good. The score, the Miami Dolphins 21, the Washington Redskins 10. On the drive, Marino 3 of 4, 58 yards. 68-yard touchdown drive, 7 plays, took 3:47. Uwe von Schamann will be kicking off for Miami. A change at return. The rookie, Jimmy Smith, had been there. Now it is the veteran, Mike Nell. Griffin and C are off on the wing. Nell to the 10. Wrestled down around the 18, maybe the 19-yard line by Rodell Thomas. So he didn't return much better than Jimmy Smith did. And Riggins is in. John Riggins back in the ball game for the Washington Redskins. First down, Washington, their own 20-yard line. Moving on the 11-minute mark when the ball is snapped. Time remaining. We're in the 3rd quarter. The Redskins down by 11 points. Still, of course, plenty of time. They can stay with the game plan of Riggins. And here he is, stepping over the middle with fresh legs to the 35-yard line. 15 yards, first down. The spark that they needed. Kim Bokamper finally pulling him down along with Don McNeil.
Watch the left guard, the right guard, 73 May, as you see him coming through. He gets a block on Mark Brown and just blows him 10, 15 yards downfield, clearing the way as Riggins is coming off, Charlie.
He is limping. Riggins is limping. That could be the dark edge of uncertainty that lurks just below the silver lining, because he is the offense. First down, Washington, and Joe Washington in the ballgame for Riggins. Scooting for about 5. It'll be second down 5. Bokamper and Bowser with the tackle.
Starting to push and shove a little bit there. Mark Brown getting a little bit upset with May. He got the best of Brown the last time. He wanted to get it back at him, but you know, Charlie, I've seen a lot of times you'll get one of your main players hurt. Hopefully Riggins won't be out for too long, but that really sparks the rest of the team. Joe Washington is a very adequate runner and receiver, and so sometimes when you lose the part of your running game, you'll go to something else. You'll go to your passing game, and they certainly are very balanced in that regard.
But as you see, Riggins was moving well along the side, and he picked up his helmet. He's ready to go back in. Second and 5. Washington. And he is just jerked down by Mark Brown. Brown weighs 225.
Fumble.
Fumble. Fumble. And the Dolphins have it. First turnover of the ball game. Mark Brown pulling down Washington. Let's take a look and see what happened.
He has the ball there. It comes out. Mark Brown, number 51, knocks it out. Lyle Blackwood jumps on it. We'll be right back.
The Honda Big Red.
Mark Brown, who wrestled him down. Look at the way the scoring is. Marino has had a touchdown pass in each period so far. At the Washington 43-yard line, Miami has a first down. And they meet and greet Franklin. Neil Olkowitz. Today's telecast, presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Washington Redskins and the National Football League is prohibited. No gain. Second and 10 at the 43. First turnover, and the takeaway last year was the Skins game. Tony McGee in to rush the passer. Back the sack. Second and 10. Duper breaks the tackle. Almost squirts loose. Gets to the 25-yard line. You've seen already the speed of Duper, 18 yards on that play. Well, in 1981, he anchored the Northwest Louisiana 4x100 relay team to victory at the Texas Relays. The second-place team, University of Houston, anchored by Carl Lewis.
He's just running a short out. Washington is in good shape. He just doesn't come down with him. Quick feet, the Dolphin wide receivers, quick feet, a lot of speed, Clayton and Duper. That's the difference in this ballgame.
They mark it at the 26 of the Redskins. First down. Nathan and Franklin in the backfield.
Showing blitz, threatening blitz.
Andre Franklin. He may have 5 yards. Stopped by Olkowitz. It'll be 2nd and 5. Today's game being brought to you by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. To arrange a thorough test drive, simply phone your nearest BMW dealer. By Michelob, one smooth and mellow taste tells you that some things speak for themselves. And by Wheaties, big time crunch, big time treat. Wheaties, what the big boys eat. This is Charlie Jones, Bob Greasy, 7.5 minutes left to go. Third quarter. Miami 21, Washington 10. The Dolphins on the move. Redskins 21-yard line. On target to Jim Jensen. First down, Miami.
The Redskins will not sit back and watch. This man right here blitzes. Murphy comes up to cover the back coming out. Jensen just runs a little slant in front of him. That leaves the whole middle open. Let's take a look at it. Aggressive blitzing linebackers. Murphy comes up. Good read by Marino. Moving the ball right down.
13 yards to the 8. First down, goal to go. Charles Mann checks into the defensive line. Marino looking to Jensen and then throwing back underneath the coverage to Franklin. And they'll lose. No, I miscalled the yard marker. I'm sorry. It was the 12, and so they pick up a couple. 13.
Dan Johnson on the reception. Again, he was looking downfield for Marino. Same type of pass, Charlie. A little slant. That time the linebackers dropped off, and he dumped it out in the flat to Johnson.
Just so you know, if you keep stats along with us, and some people do chart the ballgame, the line of scrimmage was the 13. I misread it, and I said the 8. It is now the 9-yard line. So it is 2nd down and 6 at the 9-yard line.
Alert for a blitz here. Always down in this area, the Redskins like it. Here he comes.
Looping into the corner, jumping, leaping catch. It's there. Mark Clayton. And the Dolphins have widened the lead. Cashing in on the turnover.
There you see a man-on-man coverage, a weak safety blitz, light feet. Early in the game, we said he had light feet. Look at him see the ball, go up and make the catch. Total disregard for the defensive man or your body. I'm going to go up and take that ball away. That's why he's in the starting lineup opening day.
Going up over the shoulders of Darrell Green. Strock to hold, Uwe von Schaben. He splits it. Marino has completed 20 of 24 for 307 yards. Miami with a big lead. We'll be back.
Every day, BMW
Dolphins 28. The sun is shining at least on their end of the field. The Washington Redskins 10. 5:52, time remaining. We're in the third quarter. There's the drive following the turnover. 43 yards, 6 plays. 9-yard pass from Marino to Clayton. Marino has thrown 4 touchdown passes. And that's a first for him. Here's Nelms at the goal line. To the 10, 15, 20. 32-yard line. He almost broke it. William Judson saved the score. 32 yards on the return by Mike Nails. Back to the touchdown.
There's a touchdown to the right of your screen. 29, Mark Murphy on a weak safety blitz. That puts pressure, man-on-man coverage on your 2 corners. They've got to be good enough to cover the receivers. That time, Anthony Washington was not.
Riggins back in the ball game. 83, Mark Clayton. Riggins Riggins is back in. Theismann, pump fake, little pressure to Riggins. He's got it to 35. Pretty good open field move for the big man. He's 6'2", 240 pounds. And he picks up 10. Rudzinski was putting the pressure on. We may want to bring the chains across the field, but from here it does look, with the eye measurement, like he picked up the first down.
This is a very uncomfortable position for the Redskins to be in. I don't think they were this far behind in any of their ball games last year. They're the highest scoring team in the history of professional football, but they've lost their last 4 home openers. The Dolphins have won their last 3 on the road. So if you're a traditionalist and you go for those things, fate is on the side of the Dolphins today.
Green Bay 21, St. Louis 7, third quarter. Now that is a bit of an upset working, because St. Louis was expected to, to really be the stronger ball club of the two. Detroit leading San Francisco. That's still another little, that's another upset working. Well, the Hogs, you've heard about them. They have the size to go with us down in that group. First down, 42-yard line. Fake to Riggins. Theismann steps away for trouble. He goes deep with the bomb. He's there and he's overthrown. Charlie Brown overthrown by just a step. And he had a step on the secondary. Don McNeil and Glenn Blackwood were with him, but Charlie had gotten out in front.
Theismann has one of the strongest arms in the league. You really don't expect it because he's such a small man. But in watching him warm up, he was throwing the ball 60 and 70 yards, and you don't expect it from someone so nimble and so agile as Theismann, but he can get the ball down the field.
Here's a quarterback comparison. Theismann 131 yards. Marino has thrown for more than 300.
I think Marino is recovered from his finger injury.
Yes, no question. 2nd and 10. Washington from their own 42-yard line. 4:47 left to go, third quarter. Miami leading by 18 points, 28-10. Intercepted. William Judson down the sideline. Joe Washington saves the score. Second turnover. Walker, the intended receiver. 38-yard return.
We'll take a look at it. The man in motion comes right out here. He's just going to run a little hook. Judson's going to come out here and cover him and just steps in front of him and goes right up the field. Let's take a look and see. Theismann throws it out here. Judson with vision all the way, quickness. I can't believe Theismann threw that ball out there. I don't know if he was blocked with his vision, he couldn't see, or he misread the coverage, obviously, but it's a big play going the other way. Theismann only threw 11 interceptions last year.
And only 9 the year before.
And he really didn't need to do it at that point. They needed some offense. They needed some points.
Officially 40 yards, 4-0 on the return to the 8-yard line. Second turnover. Last one was a fumble recovery, and they cashed in on a 43-yard drive. Andra Franklin to about the 3-yard line, so he's got 5. It'll be second down goal to go. Perry Brooks with the tackle. And should the Dolphins go in and score a touchdown here with the extra point, that takes the Redskins completely out of their game plan. With John Riggins, that means they'll have to throw.
Well, they're behind 18 points right now. It looks like it's going to be at least 21. So I was really surprised at that throw. That just amazed me. I've been in that situation. I've thrown it sometimes, and sometimes a lineman moves and you just lose sight of the defensive backs.
Here's Franklin. He's stacked up. He fumbles. A scramble for it. And he had it. They'll lose a yard to the 4, so it's third down goal to go. This time Marino will throw.
You know, Marino is really amazing. After what he did last year, the AFC Rookie of the Year, he threw 20 touchdowns, only intercepted 6 times. He only got into the season after the 4th game when David Woodley wasn't going well. Don Shula put him in. And now they played Only threw 38 passes preseason. Only 3/4 of one game. He's come out like gangbusters.
Going for his 5th touchdown pass. Jensen.
Touchdown.
Jim Jensen's 2nd touchdown reception. Marino has thrown for 5.
Same pass all day. A little slant. The tight end comes out. Jensen, the flanker, goes in. Little traffic, miscommunication. That's very poor defensive coverage on the part of the Redskins. 3-step drop, quick passing, good protection. Just poor coverage. Richie Pettibone, the defensive coordinator, so many years with the Redskins, cannot be happy with the way the defense is playing today.
Here's the extra point attempt. It's 34-10. Add one more. It is 35-10. Miami leading by 25 points with 3 minutes and 10 seconds left to go. 3rd quarter.
It has
4 receptions, 34 yards, his first 2 regular season touchdowns in the National Football League. And in addition, he's the number 3 quarterback, should they need him. Here is now Mike to the 15, to the 20, still on his feet. An exciting return man to the 27, maybe the 28-yard line. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. This is Charlie Jones, Bob Griese. The score, Miami 35, Washington the home team, RFK Stadium 10. 3rd quarter, 2:59 left to go in the 3rd. First down, Joe Washington is the remaining back. They'll go with a strict pass offense. Here's to Walker. And Walker to the 36-yard line. Paul Langford with the tackle. A gain of 8. It'll be 2nd down and a couple. Let's check the scoreboard. Ray Wersching, a 42-yard field goal. It is now Detroit 20. San Francisco creeping up. They're 17. Time remaining, 3rd period.
Charlie, what you have done now, in effect, is taken John Riggins out of the ball game. Washington is in there. They have to throw the ball. Joe Washington is going to be the man coming out of the backfield. As we look at Dan Marino, an outstanding day. It's just unbelievable how well he has played, not having played much in preseason.
Here's Washington on a quick handoff. 42-yard line, maybe the 43. He has the first down. Glenn Blackwood with the tackle. Marino is going to give 2-a-days a bad name, isn't he?
Everybody's going to want to sit out the entire training camp, come back, play the last game.
Are the quarterbacks going to start negotiating for that? I will appear for the last preseason game and then be ready to start for you.
Very intelligent, handles the publicity very well. Well liked on the ball club.
Washington at their own 42-yard line, trailing by 25, 35-10. Ernie Roan now in as a linebacker for Miami. Theismann rolling right. Looks back left, a little wobbly pass, but on target. Charlie Brown. Don McNeil with the tackle, very close to a first down. The officials say it is a first down, so it goes for a gain of 10.
What we have now, Charlie, is we've escalated the whole ball game. You know, the situation substitutions, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, there are no more first downs. The first down players, the run defense players are out, and the 3rd down players, the nickelbacks, are in on first down now because the Redskins have 3 wide receivers. It's a passing game. We're going to try and catch up.
At the Miami 47-yard line, Theismann backs out looking left, rolls right. He's got pressure, rolls away from it. And he goes deep, has a man, sideline.
See Monk, 81, going down the sideline. Now he's scrambling right now. This is what receivers do when he scrambles. He's coming back toward the ball, just doesn't get his feet. I don't know. That was pretty close.
From this angle, though, it's tough to read from this angle.
On the line.
And the official was looking right down the chalk. The chalk did come up. 2nd and 10, 47-yard line. Alvin Garrett is in.
You think that doesn't give the defensive backs fits when the quarterback starts running around? You get your man covered, and the quarterback gets 3 or 4 more seconds.
And the Dolphins now with 6 men in the secondary. Kozlowski is in. Pump fake. He wants to go deep. Tight coverage. Knocked away. Good defensive play. Charlie Brown, the intended receiver. And Don McNeil, out last year with a ruptured Achilles tendon, is back.
Hey, we'll take a look. Here's the receiver over here and the defensive back. They're going to go all the way downfield. Right here, the defensive back comes up. Theismann has plenty of time. Let's take a look. A good play by McNeil. Little curl and go. Faked him on that pump fake by the quarterback, and down the field. Good play, good defense. Just gets his hand in there.
And McNeil was all alone.
Don McNeil.
Washington has converted only 3 of 8 third down opportunities. Spinning out of the sack and then dropped by the second man. Second time that he's been sacked. Baumauer got it. Let's check the scoreboard. Kansas City 24, Pittsburgh 20. Pete Johnson has scored twice. It's now San Diego 28 and Minnesota 3. When you speak of elephant backfields, the San Diego Chargers have an elephant backfield in one man, Pete Johnson.
Running game is back. San Diego goes to the run.
Jeff Hayes will be kicking to Mark Clayton. A loss of 8 on the last sack. Back to the 45-yard line in Redskin territory. 26 seconds left to go. Third quarter. Clayton at the 19 is in trouble. He'll lose a couple of yards, maybe 3. Loss of 3, a kick of 36. 16 seconds left to go in the third. Wansley was the man who brought him down, and we'll be back.
Never fails.
This is Fernanza Burgess of the Dolphins, number 82, special team specialist. And obviously out for the rest of the ball game with a shoulder injury. Dolphins have the ball first down, their own 17-yard line. Second back is Tony Nathan. Close to the first down, maybe just a little shy. We'll have to see where they spot the ball as Mark Murphy made the tackle. And with that play, time will run out in the third quarter. That is the end of the third quarter. The score, Miami 35, Washington 10. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Let's go to the right side. That is Clint Didier, the tight end. He's out with a fractured right fibula. He's on injured reserve. Miami at their own 27-yard line. First down. They did pick up a first down. Decked. Oh, Mel Kaufman, the linebacker, number 55. Linebackers wait for that shot. Here's the statistics. Through 3 quarters, total yardage 372 for Miami, 268 for the Redskins.
Of course, the thing that just jumps out and grabs you, this passing yardage, 311 for the Dolphins, and that's where this game is right now. They're way ahead because of their passing game.
A loss of 2, second down and 12. Now with the lead of 25 points, starting the fourth quarter. Will the Dolphins stay on the ground, work the clock a little?
I think they have to continue throwing the ball. Safe throws, of course, but they're not going to move it on the ground consistently.
Franklin has 5 yards to the 30, so it'll be third down and 7. Monty Coleman from Central Arkansas. That's in Conway. 6-year veteran made the tackle. Is that Doug Betters?
Doug
I believe
Betters.
it is, yes.
It is very hot and humid here today.
How hot is it? Well, officially, it is 87 degrees.
I imagine this is just what the Dolphins are used to. Florida weather, humid.
Third down and 7. Nathan. 37-yard line. Close to the first down. Mark Murphy making the tackle. He needed 7. He'll get just about 7. And we'll take a measurement.
So the Dolphin offensive line doing an outstanding job against the Redskins. Veteran defensive line. Pass protection has been good all day. I think now with the heat wearing on the players on the ball game, I think the Dolphins are getting a little bit the best of it in the offensive-defensive line battle, and I think the Dolphins are, well, they're going to punt the football away. No sense in going for a 4th down here.
I want to mention some other people that are doing an excellent job today. Our NBC engineers and cameramen on a very hot, warm day have really had the game coverage. Also, George Finkel, our producer, Andy Rosenberg, our director. Outstanding job.
I'll vote for that.
Reggie Roby will be kicking to Mike Nell. The reason for all those whistles, well, we end up with 2 footballs on the field, one on the hash mark and one about 5 yards to the left side of it.
I often wish I had that because the receivers would always come back and say, hey, I was open. If I could have thrown the ball to the right, all the receivers on the left would have been open. I could took the second one and threw it to the left, completed every one of them.
Time 4.7 seconds, and the distance 64 yards. Miami leads 35-10. 12:44 left, and we'll be back. Mets and Cubs have great relief pitching, and should Theismann need relief, it'll be this man, number 17, Jim Hart, in his 19th year in the National Football League, and he's 40 years old. Washington from their own 20-yard line. Time in the world. Incomplete. Warren should have had it. Should have had it. Let's check the scoreboard. San Diego out in front by 25. 28-3. Detroit still in front of San Francisco by 3. Giants leading Philadelphia. You like the Giants so far?
I like them. If their offensive line holds up.
New England 21-10. Now New England at Miami next week. New Orleans out in front of Atlanta, now 21-19. Kansas City by 11 in front of Pittsburgh. Chicago over Tampa Bay in the 3rd. Green Bay leading St. Louis in the 3rd. Theismann, incomplete. 3rd down and 10. Charlie Brown, the intended receiver. Now, we've talked about the fact that New England, strong in the East this year, will be at Miami. Well, the Redskins have their work cut out for them. They will be at San Francisco next week.
Should be a good ball game. The Theismann just got a few boos. That was a bad throw. You know, talking a little bit about Theismann and showing Jim Hart a little bit earlier, Theismann has taken all the snaps. He threw every pass last year for the Redskins except one. And I'd like to talk a little bit about that after this play and the philosophies that go into that.
13-24, 151 yards, an interception. Back to Joe Washington, and it'll go for a big loss. Now, one of the questions that is going to be asked about Joe Theismann, we will bring up in a moment. We've still got plenty of time left. Stay with us for the second half of our NFL doubleheader today. Some of you will see Houston quarterback Warren Moon make his NFL debut. The Oilers take on Marcus Allen, the world champion Raiders. Others will see the Bengals meet the Broncos. Some, the Jets battle the Indianapolis Colts. Your team plays here next on NBC Sports. Jeff Hayes will be kicking, and Mark Clayton is set for the return. There's going to be some questions asked to Theismann. Has his turmoil in his personal life bothered his football? He's separated from his wife, and they both were on covers of magazines. They both talked about it this week. Theismann, though, not talking to the press except after a ball game. Mark Clayton on the return of about 6 yards. Larry Cuban made the tackle, a 55-yard kick. We've got a timeout. We'll be back. Today has been the tale of two quarterbacks. Joe Theismann, the MVP of the National Football League last year, having a very poor opening day, 146 yards total. Dan Marino in his second year, 311, 5 touchdowns, a record for him, going for his 6th. Duper, and it's knocked away. Good defensive play. Anthony Washington almost had his 6th. That may be the first time Washington has knocked it down. Bob.
And he's getting a round of applause for doing it. Very educated fans. Take a look at the line blocking. Foster is here. Stevenson is this man right here. And, of course, Ed Newman. Good pass protection. Marino's had it all day. Take a look at a close-up of the line for the Dolphins doing their job. You really don't get an opportunity to see him block very often. Throw was just a little bit underthrown. Washington getting the knockdown.
And you said the keys to the game, protection of Marino.
And bombs away, and we've seen him today.
2nd and 10. Tony Nathan. And he is cut down by Mel Kaufman. Today's game is brought to you by Mazda. Invite you to experience the remarkable Mazda RX-7 by Federal Express Zap Mail, an exact copy delivered door-to-door in just 2 hours, and by Castrol Motor Oil, engineered for today's smaller, higher revving engines. It is warm and humid, and the fans continue. Those are the fans that go round and round. The other fans, this is the 133rd consecutive sellout for the Redskins, an NFL record dating back to 1966. Loss of 5, 3rd down 15. Dumping it off, taking the pressure. Tony Nathan, it's incomplete. Nathan said, you know, if you'd have gotten it to me, I would have had it, but you didn't get it to me. Rich Malott and Monty Coleman were putting the pressure on.
That's what Marino would tell him. Hey, listen, I had 2 linebackers in my face, and I did the best I could with what I had to work with.
It is now San Diego 42, Minnesota 3. San Diego playing the very tough Seattle Seahawks next week, and that will be the second half of NBC's doubleheader. Roby kicking to Nell. 10 minutes, 36 seconds left to go. Miami leading by 25 points. Oh, here's another great kick. Taken at the 17-yard line. Return to the 29. A flag dropped back at the 22-yard line. It will be holding against the Dolphins. That punt, 52 yards, the return 12. We'll probably do it again. 29-yard line. You take it at the 29? Maybe yes. Or do you want him to kick it again? Maybe yes. I think that's a decision you can flip a coin on.
I think they have to try it again, Charlie, with a great return man like Mike Nelms. You want to take every opportunity
number
that
52,
you can to run one back.
This is number 66, Joe Jacoby. And it may just be heat exhaustion. It may just be heat exhaustion. Holding on the center, Dwight Stevenson. We were talking with Roy Foster before the ball game. He was making sure, he is number 61, the offensive guard for the Miami Dolphins, making sure that he was wearing white gloves because the Redskins are wearing white jerseys. And you don't want to wear an off-color glove because even if you lay your hand against them and it's a different color, it might look like it's over. And he said, "We're going to little spray paint, paint the gloves, different colors."
Whatever color jersey they're wearing, those are what color gloves I'm going to wear. Wears his gloves to protect his hands. And a big man like Jacoby on a day like this seriously can lose 15, maybe 20 pounds.
Roby will kick again, and Mike Nelms will return again. Not that good a kick. Taken at the 40-yard line. The return just across the 50. They may mark it down at the 50. And we have a fight breaking out at the 35-yard line. No flags are flying. A 39-yard kick, an 11-yard return. The big difference, 21 yards, because the Redskins would have had the ball at the 29. Now they will have it at the 50. And we've got a timeout. 10-13 left to go. Miami leads by 25 in the nation's capital. The Redskins' theory is that Joe Theismann will play the whole ball game.
Well, and I don't really agree with that, Charlie, because if you have a good ball club and you're into the season, what the Redskins do, if he gets hurt, you don't have a backup that has some experience. Last year, Theismann threw every pass save one for the Redskins. If he goes down, you need somebody else in there with some game experience. This year, they've got Hart
It's complete. Art Monk. Lyle Blackwood dropped him.
Take a look at it from the end zone. Joe Washington. That's a tough throw right there. You throw that ball 10 times, it's going to be picked off. Great throw over the linebacker and in front. Of course, the receiver's saying, hey, don't lay me up this way. Big hit. Good catch.
22 yards to the 27-yard line of Miami. Here come the Skids. Weisman looks left, throws left. Sent a man deep, came back underneath the coverage to Alvin Garrett. And William Judson makes the tackle. Here, the Dolphins lead. Let's go to NFL 84.
All right, Charlie, as you watch Joe Theismann try to move the Redskins, want to show you a strange play in Minnesota. Ted Brown around the right side. He gets stopped, flips the ball back to Tommy Kramer. Tommy'd like to have this one back. Intercepted by Gil Byrd, former #1 draft choice out of San Jose State. It is 42-3.
It wouldn't be the start of the NFL season without a strange play or two. That is Alvin Garrett's first reception. 2nd and 5, 22. It was good for 5. This pass to Don Warren. Maybe the 19-yard line, so it'll be 3rd down and still a couple to go. Chicago 27 and Tampa Bay 7. The Bears will be hosting the Denver Broncos at NBC next week. 4th quarter score. Green Bay out in front of St. Louis by 4. Riggins coming back into the offensive set. John, 35 years old. He and Otis Wansley are there. Another score, Kansas City 34. Now Blackledge is the quarterback, Pittsburgh 20. Here's Riggins.
At a 42, Lyle Blackwood. Unfortunately, everything's going to open up, and it's going to be he and Riggins, and here it comes. Lyle saying, let me hold on till I get some help. Blackwood on his back, Riggins over the top. That's a tough sight when you see a diesel. I guess that's his nickname, the diesel, coming through a hole, and you're the first one to meet him.
15 carries, 98 yards, picked up 11 on the last carry. 8-yard line, first down goal to go. Just under 7.5 minutes left to go. The Dolphins may have called a timeout. They may have had either 10 or 12 on the field because they got out, they kind of looked around and they said, wait a minute, let's check this out, and we'll be back. Coach of the Miami Dolphins replacing Bill Arnsberger.
Has done a great job. He came in, he says, I want to make our run defense a lot tougher, and certainly what better test could you have today coming against the Redskins and John Riggins?
Theismann has been sacked twice in the ball game. 8-yard line of Miami, first down goal to go. Washington to the outside. Walker leading the way. Blackwood, that is Glenn, and William Judson for the defense. The market just inside the 5. Officially it'll be the 4 probably. 2nd down and 6. Let's check a couple of scores as Riggins is icing down. San Francisco, the opponent of the Redskins next week. 27-20 over Detroit. That's in the 4th quarter. Atlanta 26, New Orleans 21. That is in the 3rd quarter. Now that is a real Redskin fan.
You think it's cooler under that hat and nose?
At the 4, 2nd down goal to go. Diving ball. Perfect 10, Joe Washington.
Coming right at you, Joe Washington over the top. Good block offensively. Joe says, give me a crack and I'll find it. Ball comes out when he hits the ground. Touchdown.
7:16, time remaining in the ball game.
The ruling on that, Charlie, let me take that a step further, is if the ground cannot cause a fumble. If you hit the ground with the ball, it's not a fumble.
It is good. So the score moves to 35-17 with 7:16 left to go here. Stay with us for the second half of our NFL doubleheader. Some of you will see Houston quarterback Warren Moon, who is great in Canada for the University of Washington. He was great in college in the Pac-10. He'll be making his NFL debut. The Oilers will be taking on Marcus Allen and the world champion Raiders. Others of you will see the Bengals beat the Broncos. The Jets battle the Indianapolis Colts. Your team plays here next on NBC Sports. We now have 7:16 left to go. For the Redskins, that is their first score since the 3:13 time remaining in the first half. So it's been almost 2 full quarters in time, not quite, but almost, between scores.
The whole thing was turned around the beginning of the second half. The Dolphins came out, scored a touchdown. The Redskins fumbled, took it in for another score for the Dolphins, an interception by the Redskins, another touchdown, and by that time it was all over with. I do think that this heat on the Redskins is having a big factor. I think the Dolphins are ready to handle this coming from South Florida, much more so than the Redskins.
And you saw Dan Marino, the man of the day, maybe of the week in the National Football League.
5 touchdowns.
5 touchdowns that he has thrown for. The returners were up close, expecting a short kick. Here's Clayton, and he's out of bounds. Anthony Jones was there. Here's Theismann on the sideline as we check the scoreboard. San Diego leading Minnesota 42-3. They're in the third quarter. San Francisco out in front of Detroit now 27-20 fourth quarter. 49ers will ball game, and they're favorites. Giants leading Philadelphia by 1. New England by 11 over Buffalo. Atlanta by 5 over New Orleans, third quarter. Kansas City by 17 over Pittsburgh, third quarter. Chicago by 20 over Tampa Bay, third quarter. Green Bay by 4 over St. Louis, fourth quarter. Officials called a timeout just to kind of check things out. We'll spot the ball. 15-yard line, first down. Riggins with ice.
That looks pretty good to me. I'd like to have one of those myself.
Yes, it is warm. 7:06, time remaining. Miami at their own 15, and here are the fans. Franklin, 6 yards. Mark Murphy with the tackle. Second down and 4. 21-yard line.
Take a look at number 11, Jim Jensen on 57 Malott. This man is a quarterback all of his life. Doesn't do a very good job blocking, but the simple fact that they ask him to block is amazing. He's caught 4 passes today. He's
2 for touchdowns.
2 for touchdowns. The first passes he's ever caught in an NFL regular season game. The man is just outstanding. And I think Shula is really building this up. So next week, when he lines up a tight end, the defense will say, well, they do run at him sometimes.
Franklin, stopped by Neil Olkowitz. We're counting down to the 6-minute mark of time remaining in this game.
Dan Marino calls the passing situation plays. Don Shula will call most of the first and second down plays. He likes to control the tempo of the game with the substitutions. On third down, he'll send in his 3 wide receivers and let Marino do what he wants to. Unlike the Redskins, they'll signal the plays in. Joe Gibbs does all the signal calling, direct the Theismann by flashing him in.
24-yard line, third down, 1. Woody Bennett, first down. Larry Kubin with the tackle.
All right, we saw Jim Jensen, number 11, the ex-quarterback block. And now take a look at the way the 2 tight ends block. Hardy of 84 and 87 Johnson. Good yardage, first down. Those quarterbacks aren't supposed to be up there on the line of scrimmage.
Does it bother you to see the number 11 up on the line of scrimmage?
It would bother me if I were a running back or a quarterback and looking for protection. That guy's got to lose 25 pounds today. Easy.
Franklin, couple of yards. Flag down. That will stop the clock. 4:42 left. Face mask. It's against the Redskins.
Five-yard face mask foul. 71 defense.
Call on Charles Mann.
Right there.
There it is.
That's 69 Brooks. That was 69 Brooks. So they got the penalty right, if not the number. But Mann's probably going to have a talk with Brooks after the game and say, hey, I'm getting some bad publicity here at the stadium.
And also, when the film's shown, it wasn't me, Coach. It wasn't me.
Right, right.
With the penalty, the ball's the 37-yard line. First down and 3. And Miami takes their second timeout in this half. Any reason for that?
Either the clock was running down, the 24-second clock, or he didn't have the right personnel in for the play.
30-second clock, of course, is the one that you mean.
Right. What did I say?
24.
Oh.
So you're just...
Basketball. I'm thinking basketball.
You're out in front of... No. Stay with us for the second half, our NFL doubleheader. Some of you will see Houston quarterback Warren Moon making his NFL debut. The Oilers take on Marcus Allen, the world champion Raiders. Others will see the Bengals meet the Broncos. The Jets battle the Indianapolis Colts. Your team plays here next on NBC Sports. A chance for us to thank Ron Lux, Jay Shrinsky, our spotters, helping in the booth, Joe Bann and Walt Murphy, and of course, Joe Costanza, the lead man of the booth. And a great backup crew. Thank you, gentlemen. It's fun to be back. We could cool it off a little, though. It's later in the season and it's a little cooler, but it is very warm and humid today. The temperature now officially 87 degrees. The humidity has to be hovering around 60%. (31 degrees centigrade, of course. First down and 3. Was the first man there. Murphy was also there.
Take a look at the center, 57 Stevenson, as he blocks back. Gets his man out of there. Dave Butts is a big man to be moving around, too. Stevenson has really come on in the last couple of years. He took the place of Mark Dennard, and then Dennard, of course, took the place of Jim Langer. Langer, one of the all-time great centers in the NFL. Stevenson is well on his way to some greatness of his own.
Second down and 1. The snap coming with 4 seconds on the 30-second clock. And Woody Bennett just kind of wiggles through for the first down to the 43, maybe the 44-yard line. Let's look at the scoreboard. Mark Murphy with the last tackle is now tied. San Francisco and Detroit 27-27. Green Bay leading by 1 over St. Louis in the fourth, 24-23. And here it is Miami 35, Washington 17, the margin 18 points, and there is the time remaining. Miami has converted their last 5 third-down opportunities. And Dan Marino has thrown 5 touchdown passes, 2 to Mark Duper, 2 to Jim Jensen, and 1 to Mark Clayton. Franklin. Perry Brooks with the tackle. And the Redskins will take a timeout, so we have an opportunity to check out some more scores. The Giants out in front of Philadelphia by 8, 28-20. They're in the fourth quarter of that ball game. Andra Franklin, 11 carries. He's rushed for 49 yards for the Dolphins.
Charlie, opening day, the Dolphins come out fired up, and they just, bombs away. They're ready to play, and they just go out and tear it up. The Redskins playing at home, we said earlier, they've lost their last 4 home openers. The Dolphins have won their last 3 on the road openers. You wonder, aren't the players ready to play? They're all keyed up. The Redskins certainly, but I think you look at the approach that the two coaches have in the preseason. The Dolphins, Shula tries to win all 4 of his preseason games. He has a substitution schedule. He wants to play everybody, but within that schedule, he wants to win the ball games. I think Joe Gibbs, talking to him yesterday, he says, we just want to get through it healthy. We don't want to show all of our stuff, and obviously from some of the things we saw out here today, a lot of it was new, but I think the approach is a little bit different, and oftentimes you'll find that in National Football League. Opening day, there are always a lot of surprises.
48-yard line, 2nd down and 6. Dan Marino, last year 20 touchdown passes, 6 interceptions as a rookie. This year already 5 touchdown passes, no interception. His career total is 25 touchdown passes and only 6 interceptions. And Franklin is stacked up right at the line of scrimmage, and the Redskins will take another timeout. It was 2nd down and 6. Neil Olkowitz made the tackle. Yards rushing, not quite 2-to-1, but in that area, and which is what you expected, because Riggins is a major part of the offense, major part of the offense of the Redskins, and he's out of the offense right now.
Really no surprise, and it doesn't look like there's much conversation going on between Marino and Shula. Shula's just saying, what do you like? Dan says, well, I don't know. What do you like? And but we really didn't expect the Dolphins to be able to run against the #1 rushing defense in the league last year, the Redskins. We figured that it might be an air battle, and the Dolphins certainly, against the aggressive defense of the Redskins, their secondary, it certainly was that. And it really came down the way you really handicapped it, because the Dolphins got it through the air, the Redskins tried to do it through on the ground. And
time permitting, we'll have NFL report with highlights and all of the scores. Here's a check of some other scores. Now 42-10 San Diego. And that will be right after this game, before the start of the second half of the doubleheader that some of you will see, and that depends on the time, as we mentioned. Marino now, his high game, 322 yards. He has thrown for 311 yards. He needs 11 more to set his all-time high. There it is, and it's incomplete. Overthrowing Mark Duper, way out in front of him. Darrell Green had good coverage on him. So it will be 4th down and 5. And Reggie Roby will be coming in. Let's look at the scoreboard again. Atlanta 33, New Orleans 21. That game also in the 4th quarter. Here it's Miami 35, leading the Redskins by 18 points. Washington 17, 35-17, leading at one time by 25 points. Number 21, Mike Nelm. He does not like to fair catch. Only has 2 in his career, and both times is when he was hit before he had possession of the ball, and they call that a fair catch, as far as statistics are concerned. High snap. Roby hangs this one straight up. Taken at the 23. He does not like the fair catch. He had an open field. All the Dolphins overran him. Yes. If he would have gotten loose, he would have had 25, 30 yards before he got close to a Dolphin. It will seem the Dolphins, I think, are surprised. You see him looking for the ball downfield as Nelms comes over. Good hands. He makes the catch, running by all the defenders. Sowell got it. Robert Sowell. If he gets away from that tackle, he's off to the races. 28 yards on the kick, a 9-yard return. Washington at their own 32-yard line. First down. 2:37, time remaining. Scrambles, gets away from Barnett, goes down the sideline, out of bounds. He goes out at the 42-yard line, just shy of the 42-yard line marker. So it'll be 2nd down and still a yard to go. He'll pick up 9 on the play. You know, Theismann has not played well today. He threw a couple of interceptions, some bad throws, but when you stop to realize he's 35 years old, the mobility that he has, how nimble his feet are. Let's not push it. He'll be 35 next Sunday. So he's almost. Next Sunday, Joe, you'll have a great day. You know, you're coming back. Gibbs said in talking to him that Joe has had an outstanding camp. He needs to challenge him. He's had an outstanding camp as we look at Marino. He's had some problems off the field, but he says his football concentration has been fine. The pass was a little low to Washington. He scooped it up, and he'll pick up the first down. They'll mark it at the 46-yard line. A gain of 4, and it will be a first down. Robert Sowell with the coverage for the Miami Dolphins. Duper, 6 receptions, 178 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Charlie Brown for the Redskins, 6 receptions for 60 yards. Duper last year, more than 1,000 yards receiving. Charlie Brown, the first Redskin since Charlie Taylor with more than 1,000 yards receiving. Right through the hands of Joe Washington. .2:16 left to go in the game. Miami 35, Washington 17, time permitting. NFL report in New York City. Highlights, updates of all the scoring, and then on to the second half of the doubleheader. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy National Football League action on NBC this afternoon. And we've started off. This has been a good one.
It's been a good ball game, and you know the defense for the Dolphins has really played well. They've shut down a very powerful Redskin offense.
This is an offense that scored 541 points last year. Basically the same offense. And that is an NFL record, tipped incomplete. 2:10 now left in the game. It'll be third down and 10.
When Bill Arnsparger left the Dolphins to go to the University of Louisiana State University, and that man right there, Chuck Studley, came in to replace him, there was a lot of talk in South Florida about, will the Dolphin defense be as good? Chuck Studley came in and says, I'm not Bill Arnsparger. I'm Chuck Studley, and I have to do things my way, and I want to get tougher and more aggressive. First stop the run, and then the pass. As evidence today, they're playing for Chuck Studley the way he wants them to.
Now, do not discount the Redskins this year. They lost their opener last year to the Cowboys. Deep, knocked away. And still, the Redskins had the best record in the NFL, 14-2. Charlie Brown, number 87.
Charlie Brown really is not the primary receiver. He's just loafing down. Theismann rolls away from him. He's the outlet. And now he takes off because it's a scramble. That's a pretty close call.
Yes. Fourth down and 10.
Officials do a good job. For the most part, they are right there. They have all the angles covered. They added an extra official a couple of years ago right in the middle of the field. And there really are no blind spots as far as officiating on the field are concerned.
Alvin Garrett in as an extra wide receiver. Washington tried to pick up the first down, and he should do it, and he carries 2 Dolphins with him. Now, Joe Washington is 5'10", 179 pounds. Don McNeil and William Judson were on his back. And again this year, we're going to be treated to one of the most exciting finales in NFL history. Fantastic finishes. Here we go.
Alcoa presents Fantastic Finishes, 1983. It's 24-21 San Francisco over Atlanta on a rainy night in Georgia. Just 2 seconds left for the Falcons as Steve Bartkowski uncorks one high and deep toward the end zone. Uh-oh, Billy Johnson falls down, but he pops back up just as the ball is tipped to him. He scrambles right and lunges toward the goal line for what may be the winning touchdown. It's a late call, but there it is, touchdown.
Nearest the camera, and here's Dan Marino, 5 touchdown passes.
If there was any doubt about that man being ready after only playing 3/4 of a preseason game, I think those questions have been put to rest.
Cover, Sports Illustrated. They say that there is a jinx. The 2 Miami quarterbacks, college and pro, and they had an outstanding night last night, outstanding day today.
And of course, Theismann was on the cover this week.
This week, that's right. So maybe he caught the jinx. Washington pulls it down. Don McNeil with a tackle. Let's check the baseball scores very quickly. John Epstein, a big NFL rooter in Los Angeles. He's a Cub fan, and he's pulling for them. 2-0 over Atlanta's 7th inning. Philadelphia over San Francisco, 6-0. That's in the 7th. And we've got one more. We'll give it to you right after this. Theismann throws sideline pass. Washington out of bounds. Don McNeil was chasing him, and there it is. Oh, those Padres. City's going bananas. San Diego is out of their mind. They want a World Series so bad. And the Mets, they're tied 2-2, 8th inning. Mets and the Cubs and the Padres, Detroit, and Minnesota, and the Angels. Boy, great wind-up to this baseball season, all leading to the World Series on NBC. first down. Goal to go. A first down and 10. 127 wanting to go for the goal. It's deep and it's overthrown and it's intercepted. That is the third turnover by the Redskins. This time it is Glenn Blackwood. 2 interceptions. One by William Judson, one by Glenn Blackwood, and a fumble recovery by his brother Lyle.
It's a tough start for Joe Theismann opening the year. The MVP of the National Football League last year. It's tough to throw into deep coverage. Deep zones, we said earlier, the ball that could have been intercepted. Here's one here, deep zone. He's trying to throw it over Kozlowski, number 40, same type of situation. Throws it too high this time, and like I said earlier, half the time those will be intercepted. And of course, Glenn Blackwood right there to make the catch.
And what a difference a year makes. Last year, the Skins took the ball away a plus 43. At the start of this season, they're giving it away. Miami now will be content just to run down the clock. The Redskins have 1 timeout remaining. They'll take it right here. Now they're out of timeouts. I like to see this. You're behind 18 points, 35-17. You still take your last timeout. Skins have not given up. We have 1 minute and 11 left. Strange things have happened in the last 1 minute and 11 seconds of a ball game, like we saw last night with the University of Miami. Strange things happen in the closing part of that ball game.
Well, if something strange is going to happen in this game in this amount of short time, I want to be here.
You want to be here. Don't go away.
Right.
That's right. Another baseball score. This is a final in the American West. Now that is beginning to tighten up. Minnesota being shut out. Second inning, Kansas City leading Chicago 4-0. Now that really can tighten up that race. All leading to the World Series on NBC. George Finkel, our producer today, by the way, will be producing the World Series. Way to go, George. One of the great producers at NBC. And Harry Coyle will be directing back for his time. I mean, he's been there a lot.
Been there all.
Here's the final. San Francisco, they had to come from behind to do it. And they defeat Detroit 30-29. 49ers with the possibility of making the Super Bowl. Once again, the final. Oh, don't hand me that card too soon. It's not yet. Don't hand me that. Not yet. We have 47 seconds.
There's Joe Gibbs. He can't be too excited about what's going on today. Of course, he realizes they lost their first game last year, went on to win 14 games and lose only 2 for this season. Of course, make it into the Super Bowl. Their theme for this year is once again in '84.
One more in '84. Now, the Miami Dolphins, the only team in the history of the National Football League to go to 3 consecutive Super Bowls. The Redskins trying to make that third, and as you know, it's tough to make that third one, isn't it, Bob?
It's very tough. Of course, when everybody's looking for you, it makes it all the tougher.
Everybody is waiting. The clock is still counting. 6 seconds and down. The players know that it's over. And now it is officially in the record book. The Miami Dolphins have taken the first of 16 steps to the playoffs. The final score.